All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Throne and Liberty video. Today we're going to quickly be looking over some steps that you can take to get yourself that last 2 or 300 combat power to take you up above 6,000 or 6,100 so that you can get into that juicy endgame content, do your endgame co-op dungeons, get into the dimensional trial, and get over to Nebula Island. So let's talk a little bit about how we're going to do that. Now, as you're going through the game on these Hyperboost servers, you're going to be taking the Path of Ascension here. And while you're doing the Path of Ascension, you're going to be getting all of your epic tier 2 gear. It's going to be fully traded. It's going to be maximum leveled. You're going to be getting tons and tons of resources to help you get your power up. But something that is likely to happen to you, something that happened to myself, something that happened to pretty much everybody I've spoken to, is that when you hit about 5,800 or 5,800 or somewhere in the 5,900 range, you're going to kind of hit a wall and you're not going to be able to get that last 50 power. And it's going to make you feel like, oh my gosh, is there something I've missed? Is there something I need to do? And there's not anything that you've missed. You're not having any problems. You've hit the same kind of wall that everybody else has. And I'm going to show you how to sort of spoof that last little bit of power so you can get up to 6,000 and you don't have to wait. You don't have to do any grinding or anything like that to try and get yourself over that hump. Now, there's 4 things that you really need to look at. First thing you're going to look at is your skills. This is something you've probably already looked at. It's a pretty obvious step to some more power, but we definitely want to come in here. We want to take a look at our skills and we want to go, okay, is everything that we have equipped right now all the way up to level 15? And you'll see I actually don't have everything that I have equipped up to 15. I forgot to do my defense skill. Here I am making a video about not forgetting things. I forgot. But yeah, make sure that every one of your skills that's on your hotbar, including your passives, is all the way up to level 15, right? That's epic level 5 or purple level 5. If you've done the entirety of the Path of Ascendance, you have enough books. You can take everything straight up and then go ahead and get yourself to epic level 5 on whichever one of these um, like ultimate skills that you're using as well. So make sure that you're getting those skill points up. That's going to be your first step. Step 2 is going to be skill specialization, right? Go ahead and equip all your skill specializations. Now, so far, I haven't actually seen any power come from this, but you want to be as effective as possible when you get into those later game dungeons anyway, so make sure you use those. All right, the second thing you're going to be looking at is your rune book. Now, you are going to rune everything. That's going to be a really obvious step, right? You're going to get here, you're going to start hitting the runes, and you're probably even going to think to yourself, you know what, I should use the higher level runes. So that's absolutely something you're going to want to do is if you're missing just a couple of power, right? You can get like 5 or 6 power depending on the rune level here to go ahead and bump yourself up. So that's per slot. So you could easily get, 30 or 40 power just by making sure that you're using higher tier, higher level runes. So even if they're not exactly what you want to be having, you're missing just a couple of power, go in and slap a rune on that's a higher level. Get yourself over that threshold so that you can go and do that other content until your runes catch up a little bit. But the thing that I missed and that somebody actually had to come and tell me was to go ahead and put some chaos runes on. Because even your highest level runes are not quite going to give you as much combat power as your chaos runes. So you can have 1 chaos rune per item. You're only going to get a couple, right? You're only going to get about 15 or 20 chaos runes as you go through the Path of Ascendance, but that's enough to get one, at least one, for each of your different pieces of gear. And then you go ahead and you just slap one of those chaos runes on. You can put it anywhere. It doesn't really matter which slot you put it on, but you want to go ahead and you want to get your highest level runes, and then you want to slap a chaos rune on there. And that's going to help you push that power just a little bit more. The next thing you're going to want to look at is you're going to want to look at your artifacts. Your artifacts are also a big step towards your power. Now, switching artifacts isn't really going to change. Oop, that did change my power. Oop, I just jacked something up. Hang on. Oh, I took 2 off. That's how I jacked it up. Okay. So changing your equipped artifact isn't really going to change anything. But you do want to make sure that you get an artifact on there, right? If you don't have all 6 of your artifact slots on there, you're not going to be getting that 60 power per slot. You can see I lose 60 power when I do that there. So make sure you get your artifacts all equipped. And then you're going to want to look at your traits. So the next step that you're going to look at here is each of your items has 3 traits. Okay, super obvious. You get max traded gear. Something you might not know is we now have resonance traits, which is a 4th trait for your gear. So all of your items that you have that are max traded will also have this resonant trait that you use. And you're going to spend, I don't have any equipment that don't have my resonance trait on it. So I can't actually show you. Well, actually, I can. Hang on. We'll swap. We'll put this in here. We'll go to our resonance trait. So the way you get your resonance trait is you actually use the noble trait resonance stones. Now, you can use chance to get this resonance trait. If you use chance, it gives you your list of possibles right here. And you can go ahead and it just costs 3 noble trait resonance stone to get a random selection. Or you can actually go in here and choose which trait you want, and that'll cost you 20 each. Don't spend the 20 to choose yet. Eventually, this is absolutely what you're going to want to do because you're going to want the best trait you can possibly get. But you're going to want to go ahead and use the chance option first because it's going to give you the power associated with having that 4th trait that's going to give you a nice little kick. It's going to help push you up towards that 5,800. You can do that on every one of those pieces of gear. So if we look back in here, every single one of my pieces of gear has this 4th trait. And like, for example, 300 maximum mana is absolutely not what I want. So we could go in here, right? We could swap this. We could hit ourselves with another chance. I'm not going to do that because this is my epic tier 2 gear. I'm going to be switching out of that anyway, but that is absolutely an option. And then the very last thing that you're going to do, and this is going to be the thing that's probably holding you back the most, and the mistake that you probably made is your weapon mastery. You want to make sure that you're getting your weapon levels up. And this is really important. Every single weapon level that you get gives you 3 combat power, but it doesn't matter what level it is, right? So going to level 1 weapon mastery on a weapon that you have equipped gives you 3 combat power. And then if I were to go to level 108 here on my sword, that would give me 3 combat power. So you might have, like I did, you might have the desire to focus on your primary weapon first and just get that to 200. And if you do that, you're actually going to reduce your overall combat power because it's so much cheaper to get the early levels, right? It requires way less mastery XP. So make sure you spread that out a little bit. The more even you make it, the more overall power you're going to get, the better off you're going to be towards getting to that 6K breakpoint. So you'll see I got to 107 and then I realized this and I started working on my orb so that I could hit my 6K. So this is definitely going to be the most important way that you can get up to 600 power. Now, if you don't quite have enough mastery, if you went a little further than I did, and you're like, oh shit, now I've spent all my mastery, what am I going to do? You actually gain weapon mastery at an accelerated rate while you're inside the abyssal dungeons using your abyssal contract tokens. You should have a lot of abyssal contract tokens built up. Bursant is right here. I've actually picked up 2 epic tier 3 items from Bursant while I've been running around in there. I've gotten a pair of gloves and a pair of boots. I extracted both of them. I've got the traits up for sale right now. They're not great, but they exist. So I've picked up 2 tier 3s. I've started working towards gaining some Lucent here. But you can just come over to Bursant, get yourself a party together, use your Abyssal Contract tokens. You'll get about 21,000 weapon mastery XP every time you kill an enemy down here in Burkent Estate. And so you can just whip through that real quick. Spend yourself 8, 10, 12,000 of your tokens. You'll have a lot of them. it's not really a waste, right? This is the good place to be using these. You'll get that weapon mastery and you'll be able to hit your 6K. That 6K is really important, right? Because it allows you to go to the battlegrounds. It allows you to do um, your tier 4 co-op dungeons. If you get another 100, right, you get to 6100, which I'm hopefully going to be getting when I level up my last skill that you saw that I hadn't leveled. You're going to be getting this dimensional trial here, right? So access to this is really, really important. This looks like it's going to be a great resource of some really good equipment and gear. So you want to be doing this as early and as often as you can. So make sure that you get yourself up to that 6,000. Anyway, I hope that this video was helpful for everybody. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm streaming Throne and Liberty right now every day at about 3 p.m. Eastern time. So stop by the stream over on Twitch or here on YouTube and give me a shout. I'd love to talk to you. So I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you all on the next one.